Maybe you've got a spouse or a best friend and you think your relationship couldn't get any better. Or maybe you've got a certain sister-in-law that hasn't ever had an easy relationship. Whether your relationships are on the spectrum of struggling to soaring, my next guest believes that there are things you can do to improve them, whether by an inch or by a mile. Studio 5 relationship contributor Dr. Matt Townsend joins me. Welcome, Matt.
Good to be here, Dalen.
So fun to have you.
Good to be here.
I think, have you found that relationships, even our best ones, even those ones could use a boost?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I think that's
Because have you noticed they change? Like how you used to relate to your husband right when you got started dating and everything is so different than how we relate today. And so we do tend to drift apart. And a lot of people think that the ideal image of a relationship are like two roads that just perfectly are in parallel and sync and wind. But I'm gonna blow that up a little bit, okay? So the first thing that every one of us can do is foster what we call synchrony.
Okay.
Synchrony is your ability to attune to another person and to actually pair, we call it pair and share. If you pay attention to somebody enough, your brain will actually pair to their brain and you'll start sharing the same emotion and chemistry.
Really?
That's why, have you ever been startled and scared, and then all of a sudden everyone around you starts to pay attention?
Yes, like funny Instagram videos.
Yeah, or your child, like your cute baby, the minute you get emotional about something, they look at you.
Yes.
So they're very paired to us. And so you can actually foster synchrony. And so instead of thinking that your relationship is this perfect parallel, what our goal would be is to have kind of our relationship constantly crossing, because we're so in sync that we're actually connecting and feeling closer to each other through the passage of time, through the passage of every experience. We can share every emotion if we're in sync.
Yeah.
And all it takes for synchrony is proximity, closeness, and attention. So if you're in the same room and you're paying attention, you'll feel more synchrony. Here's the problem. We live in a very asynchronous world, because we'd almost rather text than call. We'd rather be on our phones watching a show with our partner on two separate couches instead of actually cuddling, sitting together with our phones away. Anything we can do to get rid of the distraction and create more attention to each other fosters the synchrony. And that's something that's so subtle. If you just got in synchrony with your in-laws or your friends by just being more close in proximity, and when you're there giving attention, you'll see it'll impact the relationship dramatically.
I think we are missing so much of that in today's age, that presence, right? There's always something to distract us. There's always something to make that seems more fun or more interesting.
A song, a podcast, our music, we're always doing something. Our AirPods keep us away from proximity. So there's so many gadgets distracting us that it's really impacting us.
That's such a good one. Next, you say that we need to reframe how we see sacrifice.
Yeah, I think I hear this all the time. A lot of people see sacrifice as kind of a loss of themselves. And like, if I sacrifice too much, I'm inauthentic to myself. But what I'm finding is one of the greatest ways, probably the best way to actually get close to another person is to sacrifice for them. That's why you love your kids. That's why you love your family as they're aging and when you're serving them. The more we sacrifice for somebody, the closer we can get. But if you think sacrifice is bad, like a loss of yourself, it is the only way long-term to create a long-term relationship, because in the end, constant sacrificing for each other, and it's got to be mutual, one of the rules, that's the big caveat, but you can also sacrifice a lot, but there's only one rule that I would have, is that you shouldn't ever have to sacrifice your highest values and principles. The minute anyone's asking you to sacrifice those, they're probably not healthy. So we don't need somebody to try to make a sacrifice beyond what's healthy for us. But a healthy dose of sacrifice creates a really healthy dose of love and connection in a relationship.
I think when you make that switch in your head from I am sacrificing to I am grateful, it's empowering. This is what I'm here to do. It's a source of love. It's immediately different in your brain, and I don't need to refuel because I've sacrificed so much. I feel empowered.
It should be lifting you.
That I have done my part and that I've served the people that I love.
Power. And then the coolest thing about it is the more you kind of lose yourself, you find yourself, but you find a new you. And you find yourself really at a higher level than you would have if all you did was protect what you needed for you. The minute you start losing it, you start realizing, oh, I can do more this way. I can do better this way.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Next, you say commodity culture is a problem.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, a lot of us think that things are disposable, that relationships are disposable, that, in fact, you see it all the time on social media where somebody gets their identity from openly showing everything to everyone.
Right.
But the reality is every one of us, what we really need deep down is a confidant. We need somebody that we trust so much that we can share our lives with and share our best with. Instead of getting our identity by being all vulnerable to the world, we need to learn to be vulnerable with one person. Our closest person. So one of the ways that we can help people be more vulnerable to us is be more trustworthy. Be the confidant. Be honorable. Don't talk about people. Don't diss people on social media. Don't jump in and just start tearing people apart because you can. Be the person that people can go to, people will trust. Be the person that people will share their dreams with. Be the person that, I mean, think of how little trust we have in this world. And think about even the idea of what truth is so skewed. What if you could be the source that brought truth and that brought trustworthiness back to the relationship? If I can't trust the people around you with my feelings, then I have to take them underground. We need to create a space for people to feel so safe that they can be vulnerable with us. And that's something we can all do quietly, even with the person in the family that's the hardest to get along with. We can still go be honorable about them. We could still talk positively behind their back. We need to become the change, as Gandhi say. You become the change you seek in the world.
And I love that safe space you're creating. 60 seconds left. Get good at being your real self.
A lot of us have learned to not be our real self. We don't dare say what we really think. We don't dare be who we really are. The minute the doorbell rings, we're like, oh no, I've got to clean. I'm wearing sweats. And we start to fall apart. What if we could actually start identifying who our real self is, get rid of our fighting, get rid of our flighting, get rid of our freezing, our fears, and get rid of our pleasing, and actually start being you, the real you. The minute we normalize people being real, it allows everyone to be real. Instead of, when we now have normalized fake, everyone is fake. And none of us can relax. And when none of us can relax, it doesn't make it so the people around you feel safe to be in your presence. So be real and bring the real you and bring your highest values, your highest principles. Don't react. You love instead of react. You forgive instead of, seeking revenge.
So good, so good. Lift those relationships. Thank you, Matt. More information,
Appreciate it.
MattTownsend.com.